Hi everyone, welcome to IFITT Hangout on Air to celebrate World Tourism Day. And United Nations World Tourism Organization, or UNWTO, is celebrating World Tourism Day on the 27th of September. So it's going to be tomorrow, and IFITT is now celebrating it with having a discussion about tourism and hot topics in tourism, and also we're going to discuss about challenges and key issues in tourism and community development, which is the theme of World Tourism Day. And as you can see, the panelists and I, we are trying to incorporate the color of tourism, so we're wearing something orange, and hopefully we're going to have a good time today to discuss about tourism to celebrate World Tourism Day. So before we start our discussion, we have three panelists today. Professor Lorenzo Cantoni from Switzerland, and Aurkene Alzua from Spain, and Vitor Pereira from Portugal. And so I will introduce them briefly before we can start our discussion. First, I have actually a PowerPoint presentation for that. So let's see. I'm going to share my screen with you. There we go. And so our first panelist is Professor Lorenzo Cantoni, who's a professor and dean at Faculty of Communication Sciences at Università della Svizzera Italiana in Lugano, Switzerland. And he's also the director of a couple of research labs, Web Atelier and New Media in Education Lab, and also in e-learning lab. Lorenzo is also a chair holder of the UNESCO chair in ICT for Sustainable Tourism and World Heritage Sites. And he's currently also president of IFITT, or International Federation for Information Technology in Travel and Tourism. And his research interests are basically the overlap of communication, new media, and education. And our second panelist is Aurkene Alzua, who is the overall chair of ENTER2015 Conference. And she's the executive director of CIC Turguna in Spain and a faculty member at University of Deusto, Spain. Aurkene is also a founding member of the International Network on Regional Economics, Mobility, and Tourism, which is supported by UNWTO. And she's conducting research on tourism sciences and the socioeconomic impacts of technology in tourism and human mobility. And she has widely published in international journals and also conferences. And our third panelist is Vitor Pereira, who has been in communication and journalism sector for 20 years and now working with new ICT projects in Portugal, especially in the key sectors for tourism, such as smart cities and smart territories. And he's also an expert and a mentor for new business ideas and working closely with associations, municipalities, and other public and private associations in Portugal. He's the head strategy of, I'm going to attempt to pronounce it, Cantudo Chave, and the director of Smart Travel 2014, and he's currently also an active blogger based in many different cities, actually. So I will let Vitor to share that more with us later. And so let's start with Lorenzo. I always forget this. So I'm Iis Tussyadiah, and I'm an associate clinical professor at Washington State University in the United States, and I serve as vice president of IFITT. Okay, I will start with Lorenzo. In your capacity as, you're a university professor, and also you're having a lot of other chair positions also in UNESCO and with IFITT. So what are the key issues facing tourism today, and your vision for tourism in the future?
So thank you so much, Iis, and hello everybody. I'm very happy to celebrate together with you this World Tourism Day. I think it's important to focus on the very topic of this year's World Tourism Day, which invites us to think how tourism can benefit the local communities. And as IFITT, we are focused especially on digital technologies and information and communication technologies within tourism, be it the tourism experience as well as the tourism industry. I believe that digital technologies can help a lot in making sure that tourism is a sustainable experience and responsible experience from the viewpoint of the social sustainability. Because while thinking of the local communities, we need to think of two types of sustainability. In one sense is to make sure that we respect the local culture. So we make sure that tourism is a real interpersonal encounter where people have the chance to encounter other stories, other cultures, other traditions.
Let's move on with Aurkene. Aurkene is an overall chair of ENTER2015 Conference that's actually organized by IFITT. And so perhaps you can share a little bit about the conference before we can get back to Lorenzo when we have him back.
All right. Good afternoon. Thank you for this invitation. Thank you, Iis, for providing us with the opportunity to have this discussion and the celebration of such an important day, a matter for us as scholars, but also as people that are working on the tourism and travel, I would say, industries and overall arena. Well, going back to what entered the conferences and the IFITT, the Federation, the International Federation for Information Technology and Travel and Tourism, I should say that ENTER is the conference that was conceived under this framework, and that it was already born many years ago. Actually, it was born in 1994, so that this ENTER2015 will be the 22nd annual ENTER conference. The conference, as the federation, having a same, I would say, mission, provides and will offer also this year a worldwide and unique, I would say, forum for attendees coming from the industry, the tourism, travel, ICT industries as well, the academia, governments, public administration, and other organizations. We provide and facilitate this forum to exchange knowledge and practices, and basically what I will say is that it will challenge, as it does every year, the state-of-the-art research and industrial case studies on the application of ICT to travel and tourism. The 22nd edition ENTER will be hosted in Lugano, in Switzerland, and it will take place between the 3rd and the 6th of February 2015. This year, it was already mentioned and introduced by the president of IFITT, Professor Cantoni, Lorenzo, that one of the main challenges and also the opportunities that we have in the e-tourism field is to understand the new paradigm, the mobility, so that this year's conference is titled E-Tourism Transforming Mobility, will bring attention on the opportunities and challenges within the e-tourism in the mobility context. There are many issues that will be covered by the conference, but I would like to underline some of the main topics, such as making sense of big data, innovative metrics of social media impact on business ROI, business intelligence in e-tourism, e-governance, online reputation measurement from social media strategies, user-generated content impact on purchasing behavior, innovative mobile strategies and location-based services, or latest technologies and services of customer experience. More importantly, or perhaps to strengthen this discussion, I would like to also provide you with the information of the keynote speakers already confirmed to this ENTER2015 conference, and we'll have the privilege to hear key remarks from the director of IBM Global Technology Service Europe, the head of United Nations University Operating Unit on Policy-Driven Electronic Governance, a scholar, a very prestigious scholar from Harvard School of Public Health, CEO of KUKO, the executive director in Hospitality and Travel Global Practices at SIS, or also keynote speakers coming from, as in other conferences, from firms such as, or companies such as Expedia, Google, Amadeus, Telefonica, Melia, and so on. So that what I would like also to say that as prior ENTER conferences, the conference also looks at the young generation, the new generation. For those purposes, a PhD workshop is arranged in the previous day of the conference. Usually the conference takes place between Wednesday to Friday, so this will be the Tuesday, the 2nd of February. And this PhD workshop will offer the students and PhD candidates to share their work and get a great feedback from either other students and scholars. Finally, perhaps I would like to maybe invite everybody, but in particular in this hangout, I would like to open and also provide the opportunity to Portuguese attendees, speakers, scholars, and members of the industry to join us in ENTER in 2015 for this tourism conference. And I'm open for any questions that you may have now about the conference and what you can find among in this open and extended framework.
Great, thank you, Aurkene. And you know, personally, I would like to congratulate you for putting up such a diverse and really valuable combo of speakers, keynote speakers, and also for the programs. And I also I would like to mention that I chair the research track for the conference, and we have received really good submissions in terms of research papers, and the themes from submitted papers are actually relevant to what Aurkene has mentioned earlier. So we have a lot of papers in social media, for example, to understand big data, and to for business analytics, and also for mobile media and mobility, and other relevant key issues in e-governance, e-learning, as well as community development. And so, you know, it's an exciting conference, hopefully.
Yes. And thank you. Yes, and I think it has to be said and understood that this is a great collaboration among many people. As I said, I have the honor to chair the conference, but you already have said you are the chair for the research track, and I know how hard you are all. You are working to bring in the best papers, the best conference all together for these ample, I would say, audiences such as the industry members and also scholars from the academia and the public administration that at the end is in charge of those places and the destination management. So that thank you for you all too.
Thank you. And probably let's move on to Vitor. Vitor, you are organizing Smart Travel 2014, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to be in December in Portugal, right? And so if you could explain a little bit about the event and what's going to be covered in terms of key issues and hot topics, essentially. I imagine that it's going to be also relevant to ICT and sustainable development. So, Vitor, it's your turn.
Hello, everyone. I'm really honored to participate in this initiative for celebrating the World Travel Day. I take the opportunity to thank Professor Lorenzo Cantoni. I don't know if he can hear us already. We are looking forward to meet him in person here in Portugal next December. He's one of our keynotes for Smart Travel 2040. And it's a great pleasure to count with such a reference in the tourism sector, research and institutional in our events. Of course, Aurkene and Liz, you're also invited to join us in next December, 4 to 7, and we'll be glad to welcome you in our humble region.
Are you there?
Yes.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
I continue. So, going to your
yes, go ahead.
question, Smart Travel 2040 is an opportunity. Has become one of the reference events this year in Portugal and globally. And why is that? I believe because it's going towards the future. So, and it's crossing lots of themes and sectors. That perhaps some may think that first sight that are not related, but I can tell you that within my activity with smart cities as blogger and specialist, and also working directly with tourism sector as consultant and developer of solutions, especially in ICT, it became clear for me that tourism and travel sector are deeply related, for example, with all the trend around smart cities. And but not only tourism, we are assisting to a real market and sector convergence the last 2-3 years. We now recognize, for example, energy, mobility, construction, and even culture and urban art as smart cities team related, and not only technology, gadgets, and software that we used to think 10 years ago. Another example that Aurkene also referenced for ENTER2015 is big data and Internet of Things. These are two deeply involved with tourism sector. We need daily, hourly insights for our strategies, our marketing, social media, and so on. We need to we understand that we need to put everything together, and in smart travel we will touch a lot of these aspects, and I can go deeply with our program. I can reveal some of the speakers and keynotes and some themes and some topics that we already have achieved to introduce, and we have a very eclectic panel, I can tell you, of speakers and keynotes. Each one specialized in different areas, although they connect with each other in such a much points. We expect also to have a very eclectic audience in smart travel. Our promotion is going towards not only academics and researchers, for example, but also to practitioners, business, and of course administration, public servants, and management. Besides this, we also have technology, internet-related, marketing professionals, software, mobile developers, and so on. So you can see it's a very eclectic audience and a very eclectic speakers and panel we have prepared for next December. So I'm available to answer all the other questions. I have so much to tell, but I don't know if you'll control the time, and I'm afraid I can start speaking. I can stop me.
No problem. Actually, for our audience, we have activated our Q&A section. So if you have any questions, you can click the Q&A button on our screen and ask us any questions that. So, you know, directed to either Aurkene or Vitor about Enter or about Smart Travel 2014.
I don't know if you realize where Smart Travel is taking place in Portugal. It's a small region in the northeast region, far from the capital, here by Spain border. And we have a small community that is organizing Smart Travel, a global event, and we are very excited to test our own limits to bring this together and make this event a great success. So the first thing we thought it was, well, Smart Travel could take place any capital.
I think, yes, from what I could get, it was quite interesting, this discussion. I would like perhaps to add a short remark. I believe that technology overall, and at this moment, can empower community, can empower for both, to have a better control and access to those global value chains, so that can perform better, and also can empower community to design the future in the way that they would like. Because before, companies in some ways were empowered, and the play community have to respond to it. So if we can provide the intelligence and facilitate access to technology to a small and medium enterprises and communities, they will be empowered to participate in a different way in this global market that right now is modern and I would say managed by the big company. So perhaps that remark.
Great, thank you. So just to summarize, so now from Vitor's perspective, that Smart Travel 2014 is now actually organized in a small town to encourage also the participation of local communities and to maximize impact to the local communities, and also to allow for small businesses to have access to the conference and participate more to the conference, so that the impacts of the conferences will be optimized for the local communities. And then from Aurkene's perspective, ENTER particularly is trying to contribute to a giving direction and providing insights and intelligence, so that we have managerial implications and developmental implications for local communities to take advantage of tourism, and also to empower local destinations to develop tourism in the area.
Thank you so much for having me back. What I wanted to stress before is the fact that digital technologies can help a lot integrating and benefit local communities. For instance, through digital storytelling,
so perhaps
we might make sure that people in an area, they can provide their own narratives about that destination. Many times, narratives are shaped by professionals and by foreign people, especially when it comes to destinations in Africa and South America or Asia. But it's so important to make sure that the local communities are involved. And digital storytelling can help a lot, in my opinion. And digital technologies can also help doing some sort of disintermediation, so that money comes directly to the local community. For instance, I'm doing a project with the bed and breakfast owners in Ilha de Mozambique, in Mozambique, and there it's so important for them to be able to use technologies to get in touch with prospects and tourists, and also to present their own culture. And moreover, if we think of professionals, digital technologies can also help people upskilling, so learning through open educational resources, through MOOC, through other e-learning courses they can find online, also through our IFITT website. We are offering huge materials for that. So I think these aspects should be considered while thinking of how e-tourism can benefit the local community. But if we take the point of view of the tourists, again, digital technologies can help a lot in better understanding the local culture and the roots, the history of a destination through, for instance, augmented reality, on making sure that through location-based services you can have a better understanding of where you are in that moment. Yeah. So these were some of my points. I'm sorry again not being able to stay connected all the time, but as you know, digital technologies are something which is very good, but sometimes somehow problematic. Iis?
Yes. I recall earlier you mentioned about sustainability, especially you know, in your capacity as the chair for the UNESCO for ICT for World Heritage sites. You mentioned earlier about the two types of sustainability. You know, the first one is to respect the local culture and to encourage interpersonal encounter. So before we conclude our discussion, actually, Vitor or Aurkene, do you have any anything else to talk about regarding our discussion today about ENTER or about World Tourism Day or about smart travel, so that you know we can conclude our discussion today? So perhaps Aurkene, you can start. And I think you're still in mute.
Yes, now. All right, so perhaps thank you. First, it has been a pleasure to share and be part of this discussion. I guess that we could continue talking and discussing. There have been a lot of different topics, and I would like to extend this invitation, perhaps, to the next ENTER 2015 conference, and hopefully one day also we can join you in Portugal, and I will be delighted to continue with this discussion. But also we have to say that ENTER is about that. It's about open discussion, about good insights, real problems, and enhancing performance, either for destinations, from the industry, empowering the tourists, empowering citizens, empowering the industry. So thank you, Iis, for putting this together.
Thank you so much, Aurkene. And Vitor, do you have?
Well,
yeah.
I started to tell the web address for our website, smarttravel14.com. So you can find everything related with the keynote speakers and the other speakers. A lot of more than 30 people will be talking during 2 days of conferences. And in Smart Travel, we have a 2-day conference and 2-day experiences excursions. So we try to organize 18 to 20 different experiences. Like some of them are half a day, another one has 1 day complete, and we have 2 or 3 with the whole 2 days for the experiences. And we were thinking about what kind of experiences we will organize. We're talking about a region, our region where we are organizing this, that it's not too much development in tourism sector. So it's like it has a lot of potential, and we need to embrace everyone's ideas to collaborate and create intelligent offer. it's like a smart destination that we are talking, and smart travel and smart destinations and smart tourism. Of course, it does need to have technology. We are dealing with all the technology that Professor Lorenzo talked about. We were one of the first regions in Portugal using augmented reality 4 years ago. So we already have some of the technology, trend technology working. We have mobile applications, we have augmented reality, we have websites, we have social media, we have everything. But we really need to think about what kind of offers, what kind of tourist offer, and what kind of tourists we want to our region, and we want to bring here and experience every potential we have. And that's the big question for our reflection in Smart Travel. We'll bring some questions about it. I have no doubt about it, especially with Professor Lorenzo will be a great help here for us. But we also have Boyd Cohen, which is an urban strategist, famous urban strategist, and we have people from Caroline Couret, for example, from Creative Tourism Network. We also have people from communication agencies, like creative agencies, like Rob Adams for Six Fingers in Netherlands. And one of the phrases that I would like to close my participation in this great initiative is one of the sentences we talked about it this year in Smart Cities Amsterdam was dare to believe, dare to differ. So we have to be different, and we have to find something that our communities identify with it, and tourists that come here also identify with it with themselves. So this could be sustainable, balanced, and successful for economic development, and of course for social and for community sustainability. Thank you all, and it's been a pleasure. Aurkene, you are welcome to your, I believe you're in Madrid, yes? Well, she's mute, but we will discuss by later by email.
Perhaps,
but,
yeah. Continue.
But we have a lot of people from Spain. We have lots of conferences and speakers from Spain. Inigo La Serna, the mayor from Santander. Pablo Chillon, another great guy from Spain. And we have a lot of partners that are working with us towards a great event next December. Thank you all.
Thank you, thank you so much. And actually, there's a so thank you so much. There is a question actually from our audience, and it's from Olumide from West Africa in Nigeria, and mentioning that tourism is an emerging industry in West Africa, and the need for research and development and sustainability, and that he or she is interested in research and sustainability. And one thing that I would like to mention also with IFITT, one of the IFITT initiatives, and actually is going to be integrated with ENTER conferences, our scholarship for ICT for D, ICT for Development. So every year, IFITT is granting scholarship for PhD or graduate students, actually, master or PhD students from developing countries, and to give them access to our resources, and also to attend ENTER and to network with other ENTER members. And so we have also such scholarships as a part of our ICT for Development initiatives. And so I guess we have to conclude our session today. So thank you very much for being here, and sorry for the connection. It seems like we have really not really bad, but we have some challenges and issues.
It's Google's fault. It's Google's fault.
But we had, we had really good discussion, and thank you very much for Aurkene and for Vitor, and also for Lorenzo, and hopefully, since we didn't catch so much of Lorenzo today, we are going to organize another session perhaps in the future.
Yeah, to come forward to hear him.
Yeah. So so these conferences with Enter and with Smart Travel, hopefully we will provide tourists, communities, destinations, industries, and other businesses in tourism with cutting-edge technology and also best practices, and with open discussion with real issues and real problems in tourism. Hopefully that we will contribute not only to empower the tourism communities in the area where our communities or our network is actively engaged in, but also into the global community of tourism, which is basically what we are trying to convey in this World Tourism Day celebration. So thank you very much for joining us today, and hopefully we will have another broadcast, similar broadcast in the future with other hot topics in tourism, and hopefully I will see you guys, you and all the audience at Enter Conference, and also at Smart Travel 2014, and at IFITT Hangout on Air next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.